and welcome to Summerween 2026. This year is carnival themed, and unfortunately, there are no carnivals to be seen. There are cotton candy drinks, which feels like, close enough. I will say my rating for this one, this is the purple cotton candy. It is really just grape soda. Anyway, welcome to the vlog. I will be reading my Summerween TBR. I will disclose that this was not my most efficient reading vlog, let alone did I stick to a TBR, but we'll talk about it later. I just wanted to intro this video and say hello, welcome. We're here. She's upset with me. She doesn't like facing this way. So, with that said, enjoy the vlog. Hello, hi. I'm gonna complain once this whole video, and do I save it for today or do I save it for Wednesday? Let me look at the weather. No, I'm gonna complain today. Today's the hottest. It's supposed to be 90 degrees. It didn't quite hit that, but holy cow, is it toasty? Is it hot? I'm not here for it. I hate the heat. I hate the heat so much. I love the sun being out and getting up earlier and there being sunlight when I do. Appreciate all that. Could truly do without. Even my camera didn't want to hear me complain. I'm sorry. Anywho, I today at the office got 58% into 9 Lives by Catherine Stedman, not to get confused with 9 Lives by Peter Swanson, which I could not anti-recommend you more than anything else. It's not worth it. It's not good. But 9 Lives, I don't think that I would... I think it's a very easy, wide recommendation. Anyone can probably enjoy it if they like domestic neighborhood thrillers of a sort. I will say that 58% in, nothing has really happened. The big event hasn't come yet. There's a bit of a mystery of a missing person, if you will, but there's not really a whole lot more. I will give you the synopsis, of course, but I do write up at the top in case you don't care about all the rest. If you read 9 Lives, the cat Blue, who is I guess the catalyst to this whole situation, is okay. Even though I have not finished it, I did Google spoilers to make sure of it. The cat Blue will be okay and survive and does not die. All is well. Why does this catalyst of a cat Blue matter, you may ask? It's because our main character, Frankie, moves to this nice, pretty rich neighborhood after a divorce where she got to keep the cat Blue, a Persian floof of a ball. And Frankie is an indoor-outdoor cat, similar to mine. This, I will be honest, did freak me out for a while when Blue is out exploring the world and a man, lures Frank... I keep wanting to call Blue Frankie. My gosh. This man, lures Blue into the house with food. This cat is, pre-diabetic, which... just, don't feed strange cats. Lures this cat into the house, realizes the camera collar is on and blinking, being recording, and then tosses the cat outside. Biggest fear. Truly, the most panic that I get from this is when we're watching the cat cam in different chapters and me just worrying about the safety of this cat as well as my own cat. Frankie, the main character, she decides to put a little camera on Frankie's collar that was this old unused collar that she just had lying around conveniently, and decides to send Blue out into the neighborhood to see what's going on, where she gets to spy a little bit on what the neighbors are up to and seeing their fights and their domestic disputes. But also, the first night that they moved in and Blue got out, she came back. But I don't actually remember the gender of this cat. So this cat came back, and on the inside of the collar was written, "Help me," which is spooky and scary. And then basically we're following the who could this be? And the mystery of that all, and leads us to a potential missing person. And the cops suck. They don't do anything. This book is narrated by the author and is set in the UK. So I don't really know all of their laws quite the same way, but I do know if you're recording your cat's whereabouts and then the cat ends up in somebody's house, but you've recorded them getting out of the shower or a conversation, and then you have the footage of that, you are breaking privacy laws in the UK, and that is a big no-no. I don't know how responsible you would be in court, realistically, if your cat just got somewhere and now you know. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that, really. But she's trying to figure out this person who needs help, whilst also the cops hate her. Her neighbors are acting weird and kind of funky around her, and she's just kind of getting in on a bit of the drama. There's a bit, I guess, of a romance going on that I could do with or without. It's not swoon-worthy in any way, shape, or form. But it is captivating of a story. I am interested in what's going on. There was definitely moments of me sitting at my desk just like entranced and just like listening, which hasn't happened with audiobooks in a while. I've been pretty like towards the audiobooks that I've been listening to, and I feel like I'm just getting my mojo back for the year, which is really exciting for me because I have a lot to read this month. But all that said, 58%, I am enjoying this. It's not my favorite thriller, but it has also been a very long time since I've read a thriller, so I wonder if that's why I'm just kind of hyped about it. I don't know. But it's not a very long book. I think in total it's 9 hours, 24 minutes. I've got like an hour and 20 minutes left, an hour and 30 minutes left. So I don't know if I'm going to listen to it tonight or switch gears to something else. I really haven't organized this video or like my plans just kind of in general, to be honest. Kind of just like freeballing it, if you will. So I don't know what my plans are for the night. I have 3 different options for like at-home reads. I have 2 audiobooks for The Office. So I can definitely switch gears and pick up something else. But if I finish this hour and a half, that's an hour and a half of Town to City I could feasibly play. I know that it's summer, but it's technically Summerween, so like it's fine, I think. But I'm really craving like creating an autumn inspired town that's just like kind of spooky and scary and fun. So I think I might do that. I think I've talked myself into it, so I think I'm gonna do that. I truly have laid in bed for many days because that's where my laptop is, and I play Town to City almost exclusively on my laptop, even though I have a gaming PC that I could easily play at and do with all of my other games. But for some reason, getting cozy in bed with Town to City is kind of where I'm at. Also, if you're curious, this is a little like update portion, if you will. I've finally started Worlds Beyond Number. And Critical Role Campaign 4 is going on its hiatus, like first hiatus, like the first chapter is done. So my big July plans, read a whole bunch, get caught up this month and next month. I have 2 months to do it. Get caught up in Critical Role Campaign 4 and just like rock out to Worlds Beyond Number because I'm having a fantastic time. It's everything that I didn't know that I was needing in life. It's just so, it's incredible. So I'm having a really good time with my little D&D podcast world. But I do need to like check, like lock in and get a lot of reading done. Like I'm gonna toss this up. Don't look too deeply, but like this is my very full reading calendar for the month. We can do it. It's fine. We've got this. Don't even worry about it. It's now 9:18 p.m. So I will be getting all ready for bed, but I did finish 9 lives, so I wanted to wrap up my final thoughts. I really don't have anything further to say beyond what I've already said, which was basically the synopsis. I think this is like a solid thriller. Love an MVP cat character. I thought that it wrapped up well. I do wish that the ending had a little bit more time to really like see all of the perspectives, see what like check in with all of the characters. I'm gonna be so honest, there were so many names and I could not tell you most of them. Like I know Matt and Simon and Anna and Frankie and Elspeth. I don't think that was her name. Isbeth is something, a friend. But then there was like 5 other bajillion neighbors that I don't really remember. Who was Ben? I thought Matt was her ex, but apparently it was so much confusion was going on in my brain towards the end when like it was the epilogue of like where are they now, but I was like, who are these people? That feels a little spoilery. I do wish there were more conclusion. I wish that we kind of just got to see a little bit more of like how everyone felt and where they are and like how they're doing. I just wanted more from the ending because I think overall it was a good book and it was pretty solid and I enjoyed a lot of it. I just wish there was more time at the end, but it's a very like slow mystery. It gets kind of thrilling at the end, but it wasn't like the most, but I had fun with it. It was nice to dip my toes back in to just like the thriller genre in general, which I appreciated. So yeah, I think it's like a 3.5. Like it is a very like solid story. I think a lot of people could enjoy it, but it's not my favorite and would not be like my go-to thriller recommendation. day 4 of Summerween. I am heading into the office, but I will be listening to Teddy Bears Never Die today. This is a translated new release, translated from Korean, I believe. I don't really remember what this is about. I picked this one because Aaliyah had recommended it as like a potential for our book club, and her and I were both like considering it for Summerween. And then also for our fantasy, because I needed to pick a book based off its cover without knowing anything about it. So I know I briefly read a synopsis many months ago before it was released, but now it is time. Richie did tell me that like there is a trigger warning pregnancy because I cannot seem to escape that in my horror books lately, but besides that, I'm very excited. Not so much about going to the office, but I am excited for this book. So I'm hoping that it works well for me, and I'm hoping that it keeps me like very interested at the office. Hi, I just got off work and had dinner, so I figured that I would chat with you about my book. Here, I'm gonna be so honest. I'm gonna be so very honest with you. I technically still have like maybe 7 minutes left of the audiobook, which is like when you're supposed to, you know, enjoy the ending. And I think the fact that I would rather sit down to talk to you than sit down and like just finish listening to it kind of says a lot about my feelings. I don't think this is necessarily a bad book. I definitely think there's a lot of quotes that could resonate with people and people could pull out and be like, wow, look at this writing. But I also think that the writing is a little bit confusing and didn't quite work for me. But I also need to preface the fact that, like, yes, I read the book about a girl seeking revenge for her mother's death who teams up with a high school boy that she kind of knew who is now possessing a teddy bear. I understand that that's the book that I read. I could not tell you very much about what was going on, and like I understand like the societal concepts of like talking about South Korea especially or specifically, and how it's all about capitalism, money, wealth disparity, and like cool, it's an important conversation to have. I understand that, I recognize that. But with all that said, this teddy bear does not grow to be a Godzilla-sized bear wandering the streets. Nothing super kooky bananas goes on beyond the teddy bear being possessed. But honestly, I read Muneka and I would rather read that again than read this. I don't know exactly why this didn't work for me. I really wish that I could be like, this is the reason why it didn't click for me. I don't know if it was like the confusion for so long or just, I don't know. In theory, at 2.6 speed, this should have taken me 3 hours and 20 minutes to listen to. I kid you not, I spent my entire 10-hour shift just picking it up, putting it down, picking it up, putting it down, trying to get distracted, trying to do other things. Like, I just was not able to get into the story, which like is so unfortunate. And I do think it's, I don't know. I often, when I'm listening to audiobooks, if I don't enjoy them, I typically blame myself, being like, oh, I'm just not in the mood for it. But we've seen previously that I've listened to audiobooks, 9 Lives is a good example, that I was engaged in the story and I was interested in what was going on and I had a decent time, or a fun time even. The premise of this should work, and I think that there was a lot going on, yet it was still straightforward, like nothing crazy. Maybe it's because it's translated that I'm just not like resonating to it enough. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. And it's really upsetting me. So I don't not recommend it. I just think if you like books like Chlorine, if you like Muneka, I think there are better books. I did not personally like Chlorine, which is maybe why I kind of connect these two in my brain. But I did like Muneka more, which is also a translated work with a possession of a doll rather than a teddy bear. So like there are other things out there. But also, like, it's not that long. The cover is phenomenal. This is like one of my favorite covers of the entire year. I wanted to love this so bad. It just never grabbed my attention. I just never cared about what was going on. We do not have these two characters, Hwayoung and Doha. They don't meet until like 20% into the book. I did not start caring about the plot until like 30% into the book. And at that point, I was already kind of checked out. Or it was just like, whatever could happen can happen. So I don't know. I'm kind of let down by this one. Again, I don't not recommend it, but I definitely think my review is not going to be the most helpful for somebody to pick it up. I do think that it's a cool premise. I think this could work for people who like Chlorine, if you like a coming of age, but you also like books set with like revenge or brutality, while still having like the Bat Eater type of social commentary with like grotesque horror in between. Like, I think this could work for a lot of people who enjoy the horror genre, but even reading a lot of reviews, people were saying that it was confusing and it didn't really work for them. So I'm not completely alone. I think a lot of people are walking away with this being a 3-star book. So I don't know, if you pick this up, it might just be 3 stars, but at least you can say you tried. I don't, again, not to recommend, it's just not really my favorite. I'm sorry. It is now the evening time. I think I'm gonna go walk Zebra. So I don't want him to know just yet, so in case I chicken out, but I do think that's gonna happen. So I think that's my plan for this evening. I have another audiobook on deck, which is Vile Lady Villains, and I'm gonna give that a try. It's a Macbeth retelling, but it's sapphic, but it's like Macbeth meets women in trouble. I don't really know. I'm gonna have to like get into it and like read the synopsis again because I don't really remember, but there's these two covers that I keep talking about, and I really like both covers, and that's why I picked up the book, simply because it was available on Libby and the cover was cool. So I think that's gonna be my next audiobook, because I think most of the other reads that I have are either physical or on my Kindle. So I think that's gonna be it for this little check-in for day 4. It's already like almost 9 p.m. I'm so glad that the sun, oh, it can't be 9 p.m. yet because the sun is not setting quite yet. So it's probably like 8. Getting off work late stinks in the summers. Like, man, I just want to get off at like 3 in the summer, but I can't go into the office that early. I'll die. So anyway, that's kind of my plan. I might start Vile Lady Villains on my walk and then kind of go from there. I don't know yet. I don't know yet what I'm gonna do.
Hachette Audio presents Vile Lady Villains, written by the Crystal Blue, read by Lois Jamimba and Kat Kerbetti. 1. Lady Macbeth. Speak. Demand. We'll answer.
Good morning. I last night on my walk and this morning on my walk got about 30% into Vile Lady Villains, and I'm not like obsessed with it. I really like the concept. I unfortunately think this is a concept that never seems to work for me. Basically, in this, we are following the tale of like Lady Macbeth retold, a twist on it, if you will, where instead of Lady Macbeth self-slaughtering because of her villainous husband who's, you know, on a violent rampage for power, and she was helping, of course, but, you know, instead of like turning mad and like ending her life, she decides that she's going to reach out to the 3 witches that had the prophecy of Macbeth coming into power and being king. So she turns to them and they're like, here, let me open you a little door and it'll help. And so then she steps through this door into a new realm. This new realm has a woman coated in blood, as sexy as can be, and she has been doing a violent revenge on her husband. She's the queen of Mycenae, and she is seeking revenge on her husband, who also sucks. So I'm assuming, based off what I've gathered, that the queen of Mycenae is fictional, I think, for the story, which basically now they're like traveling through this storybook realm where there's like monsters and the horror of it all, of like scary things chasing them through tunnels and whatever, but also like a budding romance between these 2 women who have been in heterosexual relationship and like obviously like feed the patriarchy and like are used to like men being of power and whatnot. So they're like my deepest desire of kissing this woman, but also like how dare I even have such a thought. It is interesting enough, and I like the narrators. One narrator, there is the issue of like you have 2 perspectives. You've got Lady Macbeth, who's got a Scottish accent and talks much faster, and then you've got the Queen of Mycenae, and she has just like a normal American accent and is just a little bit nicer to listen to like on a regular storytelling basis. And so the speed difference definitely is like hindering the audiobook experience. I wouldn't say that it's my favorite audiobook ever, but I am liking these 2 characters. I am liking I don't want to call them trials, but like the things that are coming across their path that are like provoking them, and like witch and fairy and fae like kind of atmosphere and like lore to some degree. I do overall enjoy the atmosphere, which I think it really is like thriving in that like horror-mantasy gothic endeavor, which I do like. I like it enough, but I'm not like gagged by the story. I'm not like having the most fun time. I'm liking it enough that I'm going to continue, but it's not like the most engaging, unfortunately. And I do think that it could just be me, because every time I read a book where a character goes into a story or a fictional world, the Book of Lost Things, I tried to read Long Live Evil. I've read a few others, but they never seem to work super well for me, which is really unfortunate because the concept is so cool. I love the idea of going into a fictional world, in your fictional world, very meta, but for some reason it never gets pulled off in a way that I enjoy it. But it does kind of remind me a little bit of Never After, the Dropout Dimension 20 season of like fairy tales and all that. So I don't know. Pros and cons, I'm still weighing them. I don't know where I'm gonna land by the end. Right now it's feeling quite mid and very like 3-star okay, but it's not like my favorite thing, but it's not like horrible. I really thought that 9 Lives cured me of my audiobook problem, but I don't I don't know. I don't know if that seems to be, hey, I don't know if that is actually an accurate assessment anymore. I can't tell if it's me or the audiobooks, my attention span, or the narrators. I can't figure out what the problem with audiobooks is right now, but like I'm just having a hard time focusing. And I do think maybe it's because I've been listening to this exclusively on walks, and sometimes walks are my thinking time. So maybe that is a part of it. I don't know. But we'll see. I still have, 70% to go. So there's lots that could happen. There was like a romantic scene, a kiss, but it was like also maybe not all what it seemed to be. And yeah, it's hitting some tropes in like some fun ways. I'm just kind of like, ooh. But yeah, I'm into the romance part, so not so much about like the politics and the husband and all of those kind of things, you know? Hello. I'm home from work. I'm tired. It's very hot. I know I said I wouldn't complain about the heat too much, but I did not finish Vile Lady Villains like I had hoped today at the office. I am really, I guess, struggling with it. Like, it's gorgeous, lush, purple prose that I'm not getting the full experience from listening to the audiobook. I learned, fun fact, that we're following two women, one of them being Lady Macbeth, which we talked about, and the other one is this lady who has her own book, I guess, and she's from Greek mythology, which makes sense upon further research. This author is Greek. I genuinely I have so minimal knowledge when it comes to Shakespeare already, and then throw Greek mythology on top. I know nothing about it. So I feel like I'm missing a lot of context and like background knowledge that's not necessarily explained. Did not know Greek mythology was involved for so long, and then suddenly like Zeus was being mentioned, and I was like, why are we name dropping this man? What is going on? Shakespeare has made an appearance, which is like kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I think like the adventure is kind of fun, but also has really slowed in pace, which I guess comes from the gothic atmosphere and telling of it all. I think some of the horror parts are like so dope, but I don't know. I feel like I'm either not in the mood for it, or it's just not maybe the best audiobook experience to me, or I'm just not liking it. I can't tell. I don't have like major issues with it. It's just not super gripping, and like I kind of want something a little bit more fast paced and fun for Summerween than like slow gothic horror with romance and rebellion against the men and like reclaiming our villainous stories and womp womp. I'm kind of feeling meh towards it, which is unfortunate, but I also kind of want to like move on to something else and maybe finish this later and like see if I can get some excitement, some spark going on, and maybe that'll help. That's what was going on with me. I feel like I should probably continue with my nighttime book, but I don't know. I have so many things on the go and so many things that I want to get to and like so many plans and ideas, but I'm also just like tired, I'm exhausted. So I don't know, guys. We're gonna kind of see where the night takes me. I'm so full from that burger that I got at lunch that I don't think I'm gonna have a very large dinner, but I feel like I should probably read so I feel productive, or else I'm just gonna sit on the couch, watch YouTube all day, which is not good for me. I need to stop watching so much YouTube. So yeah, that's my little update. I will see you guys for day whatever tomorrow is. Hi, I am so sorry. I did bad. I did a bad job vlogging, probably like 4 of the days of Summerween. That's my bad. I'm so sorry. I wanted to talk about what the woods took because I got 50% into this. And so we need to talk about this. I took a pause because I read the Heartstopper series, and so like I wasn't going to vlog that for this because it's not Summerween related. Therefore I, was gone for a little while. And then like the last day I was working, and then I was out with a friend, and all this, like just things were going on. So I kind of just like fell off the face of the earth for a little bit, and I apologize. Hi, I have things to talk about. For some reason I said, why stick to a TBR when I can just start other things? I don't know. So the 2 books that I did not get to that I had plans to, and I will still read this month, just kind of, because I've been interested in them in the theme of Summerween all month long. I did not end up picking up Tastes Like Candy, which is I think recently traditionally published horror novel, and I did not get to Bacchanal, which is like was supposed to be my carnival themed book, but I did start at The Office, Super Castle Fun Park by Daniel Zimparelli. It's not even a little bit what I thought it would be. Do I know what I thought it was going to be? No, but it's not at all what I thought it would be. I only got about 24% into it. I don't hate it. I just don't know. I don't know. It's about a group of people who play the game, which is an online video game. And there's like supernatural involved and it's weird. And I think the audiobook is good. I have it because it was a Libro advanced listening copy. And so I'm giving it a try. I like the narrator overall. Like I do find the audiobook to be done well. Like the production is interesting and keeps me engaged enough, but it also opens on Christmas Day, which was not the Summerween vibes that I was looking for. Unfortunate. So I did not actually make it super far into it, but I also did not have time to switch to Tastes Like Candy, which I had an audiobook for, Bacchanal, which I was going to read on my Kindle, and then I had my physical read, What the Woods Took, by Courtney Good, an author who writes young adult horror, often lesbian sapphic romances. I rather enjoy them. I would say that Into the Dark was 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I've read it twice. I read Echoes, whatever that title is, and I don't really remember much about it, which is unlike me. I usually am a little bit better at memorizing plots. That one's pretty escaped from me. So I think it's probably a 3-star. I don't think it was a super standout. But What the Woods Took, I'm really enjoying. It's definitely the heaviest of the books that she has written. It's definitely spooky, scary. Like this was my pick for reading at night. The woods atmosphere of just fear and potential. I don't know what all the synopsis is. Yeah, it's so interesting. The synopsis does not actually give you a whole lot of Ollie, who's like a full perspective that we get. I like this edition very much. This is the Owl Crate edition. It is interesting because this is like, yes, it's fantastical in the horror sense of like there's things in the forest, but we don't typically get horror picks in the like normal Owl Crate box. So I was very happy to see this one. And I'm, again, really enjoying it. We're following 2 perspectives, 2 teenagers from Portland, Oregon. Courtney Good always writes Oregon-ish stories. It's set in we think the woods of Idaho, but we're following these 2 teens, Devin and Ollie. Devin has been through the foster system for a long time, and her foster parents were kind of like at their wits' end and signed her up for this program. Ollie's father signed him up because they were also having issues. This program is Wilderness Therapy for Troubled Teens. I know there's a lot of controversy and issues around these types of programs and therapy and like the abuse that can happen within them. There is, I would say, a very solid like author's note and content warnings for the book, and I think that it's been handled incredibly well. It definitely feels heavy when you're reading it. You definitely like feel the heartache that these kids have gone through and just like understanding their struggles. We are getting their perspectives primarily, which makes perfect sense, but it is more focused on like Devin, if you will. But I would say that they're pretty equal. We go back and forth. There's differences in when we switch their perspective. There's like a chapter break, but it is a little bit head hoppy in the chapters for that reason, which is not my personal fave. If I was just listening to the audiobook, which has a single narrator, I would have more complaints, but because I'm physically reading along, I'm able to follow it just fine. So I would say that. But we are following 5 teens in the woods with 2 counselors, and the counselors go missing, and these teens have to survive, and they're not sure if this is part of the program or what's going on. They split up for a time, they get back together. Like there's just so many moving parts. There's like less action than you would think. I'm halfway through, and it's not been like an action heavy focus, but it is engaging, and it's a lot of like the characters getting to know each other and like trying to figure things out. But it's not like just about their trauma. It's not just about like them getting to know each other. There is more depth and just like overall realistic experiences to it, where it's like a bunch of teens who realistically are not campers and don't know how to survive, minus like the week that they spend with their counselors. Like other than that, there's not a whole lot, but there's like spooky stuff that's going on. It's a little bit eerie, and I just really like the atmosphere and vibes. I really like these characters. I cannot necessarily relate to these troubled teens experiences just because like I was very lucky enough to have an amazing mom, but at the same time like I definitely had a rebellious phase, and if you know things were just ever so slightly different, I could see myself in these kids, and it's just heartbreaking, the experiences that they've gone through, the traumas that they have, and just like seeing why they're here and how they're getting through it. It's definitely heavy. It's definitely not like a light, fun, silly little read, but I am really liking it. I think that the writing is good. I think the characters are great. I really like the atmosphere and like the spooky parts that are happening. I'm having a really good time with it. So I wanted to check in and tell you that, but I also wanted to tell you that Summerween is over and I needed to end the video. I think when I finish Into the Woods, nope, What the Woods Took. Into the Woods is a musical, my bad. When I finish this book, I will leave like a comment on the video so you guys know like my final rating in case you don't follow me on Pagebound, Storygraph, or Goodreads. Honestly, don't follow me on Storygraph. Like I use it, but not like really. I haven't rated anything. I've just been logging the things that I've read, but I've not rated any of my reads. So if you're gonna follow me, I'm most active on Pagebound, and then second to that, I'm active on Goodreads. So if you want to keep up with my reading stuff, that's where I'll be. But if not, no worries. I will let you know how I think of this book by the end. So far, I'm feeling like a pretty solid 4-star towards it. I'm really enjoying it, but it's not my favorite thing ever at the same time. But who knows? Because we are halfway through this book, maybe a little bit more than halfway. I'm on page 191 of 382. So there is a lot that could happen, especially with the direction that we're headed. So I'm looking forward to it, but I will let you know my final thoughts just because, you know, that's helpful for videos. Normally I try to finish my TBRs, but in this I ended up reading 9 lives. This is really just a test for me. You've seen all this. You know what I read. 9 lives. Teddy Bears Never Die. What the Woods Took. Is that all that I accomplished? Started too many books. I don't even want to like, Oh, Vile Lady Villains. Yes. I totally forgot about that book. It was fine. Started Super Castle Fun Park, which again is also fine. I think that's it. So 4 books for Summerween certainly ain't bad. So back in all, I will read that and let you know what I think of it once I do in my wrap up, as well as Taste Like Candy. I will let you know. I have a lot of reading plans. I've got a lot of reading vlogs that are coming up as well. So I hope you like reading vlogs this month because I'm coming at them to you. But if you're interested in Bacchanal, I don't really know what it's about, so I'm not going to try and pitch it to you. I just know that it's set at a carnival, and it's, I believe, fantasy with horror elements. It's on Kindle Unlimited with the free like audiobook if you have Audible. So that's how I will be reading it. If you were interested in it, you might want to pick it up at some point. I don't know. It'll probably be there for a while, but just so you're aware. And then I think that's everything that I wanted to wrap up. I had, honestly, a pretty solid week. I mentioned it on my community post tab thing that my summer has been pretty woo-woo with my mental health. I feel like I'm in a good place today, but it's been a lot of like ups and downs of like a gray area of where I've been at. And so I'm just trying to, you know, get through the summer and try to enjoy it the most that I can. We got to see a raccoon and her baby. That was beautiful. There's been a lot of like joy to the summer, which I think is why the highs are high and the lows are low. Just because that's what the summer be for me. So thank you for bearing with me as like my upload schedule has been a little bit hectic and all over the place, and just, you know, patience and kindness. I have way more subscribers than I did like a month ago, and that's thank you. It's crazy. I am working on a little project for that because you know, thank you. I appreciate it so much. So with that said, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for getting to the end. Thank you for listening to my rambles. I do appreciate it. If you made it to the end of the video, leave cotton candy emoji. I think that's an emoji. If not, carnival fair food. I had corn on the cob. You guys saw that I was holding corn. I'm not the best at filming my cooking process, and I don't like filming myself eating, to be honest, but I had corn on the cob for the first time since getting my permanent bottom retainer brace thing removed. And after 10 years, I finally got it removed, and I had corn on the cob for the first time. And like, wow, like, oh, like, wow, like 20 years. No, that's not right. Like 16, many years. So that was really exciting for me. Anyways, I gotta go. This is what happens when I don't talk to the camera for like a couple of days. I just feel like I need to spiel my whole life to you. So I will leave you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one quite soon. Bye.